Warning: the Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
Hello, fools. Welcome to The Savage Nation. This perplexes me to no end. Why do non-Mexican Americans in America make such a big deal of this minor holiday in Mexico? They don't even celebrate it in Mexico. Only stupid white drunks in the suburbs who need an excuse to guzzle beer and eat bad food. Play the music again. I want to make sure they heard. This is a minor holiday in Mexico. And only here do the white fools make an issue of it. Obviously because of the beer company advertisements that pushed it into their head that it's a day to get drunk. And since most Americans are drunks, anyway, this is another excuse to be a drunk for another day. There's a long story about what it is. It commemorates the Mexican Army's 1862 minor victory over a French army at the Battle of Puebla during the Franco-Mexican War. All right? But you got white Americans who make more of this holiday, Cinco de Mayo, than they do over their own Independence Day of July 4th. Not a big deal, but it's worth mentioning. Many people don't even know what Cinco de Mayo is. But they'll go celebrate. Oh, they're dancing in the streets already in America. Very multicultural. I guarantee all the schools in America make it a bigger holiday than July 4th. I guarantee you. To all of my Mexican friends, congratulations on your victory over the French in 1862. I really salute you for that. That was a real big battle. Of course, it was not a major strategic win in the overall war against the French, but it was a symbolic victory for the Mexican government, and it did bolster the little minor resistance movement. Then, years later, military support came from America, and it helped Mexico, and France withdrew. And this is an interesting side note. The same year, 1862, I believe, Austrian Archduke Ferdinand Maximilian, who had been installed as Emperor of Mexico by Napoleon in 1864, would you believe it, was captured and executed by Juarez's forces. Now, that's interesting because I always liked Mexican music because it reminds me of German beer hall music. There's certain elements. I never understood where the German music came from in the Mexican popular music of a certain time. It's no longer really there. I listen to Mexican music on my radio now. I find it much more interesting than chick music. I would rather listen to Mexican music than chick music that belongs in an elevator. Cinco de Mayo history. So there it is. That's the whole story. Thank you for listening. Good night and good luck. All right, turn it. No, that wouldn't be a bad commentary, a Savage Minute. I'm thinking eventually going from the long format 3 hours a day to a 3-minute segment once a day or something like that. That would have been my one segment for the day. It would have been controversial. People would not have understood it. Some would have understood it. Nobody would have gotten AK-47s and body armor, and try to shoot up a meeting. That's the difference between civilized people and throwbacks. That's all. Which brings us to the next point. This is an astonishing story that I'm about to tell you. It is an astonishing story that I'm about to tell you. There's a trade deal that the traitor in the White House is trying to push right now with the help of the Republicans. They're all traitors. This deal is such a sellout for America that even Harry Reid opposes it. I swear to God, this is something you'll never believe in a million years. Harry Reid throws brakes on Obama trade push is the headline on Fox News. My headline is a little different. Trade treason is what I call it. Senate Democratic leader Harry Reid is jamming up President Obama's push for a new comprehensive trade deal, saying he'll try to block it until the Senate tackles other hot-button issues. Now, what this trade deal is, no one really knows, but they kind of know. It's a sellout of the American worker by Obama and the Republicans. This is amazing. Think about what I'm saying to you. The Republicans under Obama, the Republicans and Obama, rather, want to give Asia a trade deal that will destroy us completely. And the only ones stopping it are the Democrats for reasons that are their own, probably because they have to go back to the workers in their communities and explain to them why they eroded the working man once again. But listen to this. You got to listen to this Senate leader Mitch McConnell. You know, the gobbler, the guy who looks like a turkey with the gullet hanging down from the chin. This guy is one of the worst Benedict Arnolds in the history of America. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, the gobbler, urged his Republican colleagues to support Obama's trade push. And here's what he said. He said, of course, we've already heard of an attempt to stand in the way of the bipartisan effort to debate this legislation. We already heard of yet another effort to make a partisan stand against the bipartisan accomplishment that would help grow opportunities for our constituents. He means the lobbyists. The only opportunities that will grow are those pushed by the Better Business Bureau and the few companies that will benefit from this. You see, Obama is pushing a 12-nation agreement known as the Trans-Pac Partnership, which would open markets around the Pacific Rim to U.S. exports. On the face of it, that sounds good. But that's not exactly what it really is. Because to complete this deal, it's a little complicated, so I'll stop. I'll make it one sentence. To complete this deal, Obama has to win expanded negotiating authority from the U.S. Congress. And who is opposing him? Liberals and labor unions, who say they fear the loss of American jobs. I'm with the liberals and labor unions on this. I'm totally opposed to the Republican big businessmen on this. I'm sorry. What, do I have to go party line? I'm not in the Rush cartel. I call them as I see them. It's that simple. What do you want to talk about? The Texas shooting now? I did it yesterday. I did the best show in the history of the world. I did a better show in the Texas shooting than anyone in the history of radio could have done, which is why they didn't tackle it. They were afraid of it. They didn't know what to say. They didn't know how to handle it. I did a great show, and I was on the Alex Jones show. He has a great show. Some call him a conspiracy theorist. You know what? A conspiracy theorist of 10 years ago is a mainstreamer today. You know that. Virtually everything that conspiracy theorists proposed 10 years ago was happening to the country. I'll give you 4 examples. You can give me some. Back when I was in radio in the 90s, mid-90s, we opposed NAFTA. We said it would destroy jobs in America. We said it would destroy factories in America. We said it would bring illegal aliens and drugs into America. Were we wrong or were we right? The North American Free Trade Agreement decimated the industrial base of America, decimated us, exported jobs, exported factories. We were not wrong. Remember the World Trade Organization, the WTO? Has that worked out for America? No. No, it's weakened American manufacturing. This is just a continuation of the weakening and hollowing out of Obama's secret trade pact. Do you know it's so secret right now that even Nancy Pelosi opposes it? I swear to God. The secrecy surrounding Obama's treasonous trade pact is such that the lawmakers who are allowed to look at the bill have to go into the basement of the building where the documents are hidden. They cannot take their notes with them. They're not allowed to discuss the details with the public. Can you imagine a president as degenerate as this? A man as retrograde as this? A man as demonic as this? A man as fascistic as this? Getting away with this? Sure you can. Why? Because except for a few websites and a few radio shows, no one is telling you how demonic the man really is. The U.S. ran more than $50 billion in a trade deficit last month. $50 billion in 1 month, and this guy wants to give away what's left. You hear this? All right, you're not interested in this. I know the emotional topics. I get it. I know what people call about. You want to talk more about the Texas shooting? What more do I have to say than I already said yesterday? Thank God for the Texas traffic cop who, despite the fact that he's being shot at by Muslims with machine guns. Ooh, did I say Muslims? Why did I have to say Muslims? Oh, that is so politically insensitive of me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, because they were doing it because they were Muslims. At least they said so, so maybe they were wrong. Anyway, the Muslims with machine guns came out blasting. And this guy had a handgun, shot them both dead with headshots. Bang, 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 bang. We don't know if it was 2 shots or 4, but the Muslims with the machine guns went to the Sturgeons. They got the 72 Sturgeons they were promised. That's for sure. And we avoided a trial, and we avoided a bloodbath. So that's all that has to be said. They're dead. And the secondary part of that story is that If you drive through Texas, I strongly advise you obey all traffic rules. Texas is not New York. Texas is not Baltimore. Texas is a world unto its own. It's more law-abiding, the people are safer, and they don't take crap from people who try to push them around. That's why they're called Texans. That's why liberals hate them. That's why we love them. And I want to thank you very much for listening, and good night again. See, that's show 2. That would have been a second 3-minuter. That actually was quite long. Now, today is a strange day for me. I had one of my weird dreams last night, which I'm reluctant to tell you. It's called the white elephant. You think I make these things up? No, you just have to take it on the face. Remember I did the white owl about 2 months ago? I even painted the white owl. One day you'll see what a rendition I did of the white owl. It's actually one of my better watercolors. Last night I dreamed about a white elephant that was blindfolded. And I'll tell you what I think the dream means the minute I return right here in the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com. It's the only company I trust to protect my wealth. Call 800-BUY-COIN. Yeah, welcome back to the Savage Nation. I feel so good, it's frightening. 5 minutes before the show, I almost didn't go on the air. Ask the guys, I'm suffering severe allergies. I popped an allergy pill, which I reluctantly take every 10, 20 days. I couldn't take it. All the jasmine's in bloom. I was just whacked after the bike ride. Then I took a Rockstar Recovery. All of a sudden, the two combined, I'm suddenly full of energy. They said to me, God, that's incredible to see you go from down to up. I said, well, welcome to the club. I'm the moon man, the dark side and the light side. I am definitely the moon man. What a difference in feeling. 5 to noon, when the show starts at 5 afternoon, I walked in the back of the green room. I almost wanted to lay on the couch and not get up. I almost threw in the towel. But I know the show must go on, so I never quit. Even the days I would write. See, here's the thing. The show itself invigorates me. Robert, the board operator, just said the minute you hear that starting music, it changes the brain waves, and you're invigorated. It's why I'll never let go of radio. You know, if I'm still living and I don't have terrestrial, God forbid that happens years later, I'll be on the air somewhere. I'll just do a web show, whatever I have to do. I will always be out there as long as I can, cogently present my ideas. It'd be a shorter form. I was so excited yesterday doing the Alex Jones show. I didn't think I had the energy for it. I couldn't sleep last night. I was so excited from TV and then radio that I'm thinking of doing a morning web show of my own, a separate show that I get up in the morning and I'm in like a bathrobe and a cup of coffee, just a fire, and I open the paper up and do like a half an hour to an hour of a web show to warm up for the radio show. That wouldn't be a bad thing. I would have to do that by subscription. It would only be a web-based thing. And I'm not a businessman. The truth is I'm not a good businessman. I've done okay in life because I have a very smart family in plain English. But the thing is, I don't know. I don't like organizing businesses. I don't like organizing, and I like performing. So Cinco de Mayo, play the mariachi music. I already lost them. They went somewhere else. They're on the Wallbangers channel now. I don't know. They want to listen to racism, this, that, Ferguson, Baltimore. I could care less. I'm so sick of it all. I'll be honest with you. And I've said this before. They're never going to convert to Islam. I don't think you understand what I just said to you. Catholicism is so deeply rooted in the Hispanic people. Could you actually believe that Muslims are going to convert them to their religion? No. And I was on the beach down in, I was near Manhattan Beach in L.A. about 2 months ago, standing on a boardwalk. It was actually the Hermosa Beach boardwalk. And I looked down on the beach. And I saw the families, the white families, the black families, the Hispanic families, and I saw the men with their wives and children on that beach. And I looked at them, I just watched them leaning over the rail, watching the world go by. I observed. And I had a good feeling about the future of America. I said, the family is so strong in the Hispanic culture. They're not going to let anyone rip their religion away from them because their religion is the glue that holds their family together. I don't think anyone's expressed that as succinctly as I have on the radio. I'm sure it's been written. I'm sure people have